So I was going to do this as a live stream tonight, but I can't tell that what is going haywire, whether it is my internet, where it is along the line. So I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to ramble and have to say what I have to say here. If you don't know who I am, I'm Suzanne Sidkamar. I used to write for Pathos for over 10 years, a column called No Longer Quivering. I'm currently moving all that content over to my own website where my book will be as well available for order. It's called withstrangefire.com. Um, the book is all about my time in a Quiverfull church and how the things they're doing are strange fire. They're not anything straight out of the Bible or anything like that. They're making it up as they go along. So, speaking of making it up as I go along, I'm going to be talking tonight just a hair about our least favorite self-described reporter. I'm not even going to give her a name because I don't think that it benefits us to say her name. I want to talk about her content, not her, okay? These are all my opinions, my considered opinion after 17 years in Quiverfull and more than that out now. These are my considered opinions, what I've been through with my lifetime there. I'm sorry, I'm kind of discombobulated tonight. We were running and gunning all day and I've thrown my back out. So if I get strange, at least you'll know what it is. So don't bully anybody I'm going to talk about tonight. So our least favorite self-described reporter has been using pictures of the Duggars lately and then using content that doesn't have a darn thing to do with the Duggars. Nothing to do with the Duggars whatsoever. Please don't do that. So tonight she had one and she was talking about an exclusive content. She's talking to sources from this church and that church who are sort of Duggar adjacent about discipline, and she's talking about the discipline of children, which we all know in the Quiverfull non-denominational high demand religious organization world, that looks like CA to the rest of the world. And it is CA as far as I'm concerned. You don't do that to children. So what am I talking about? She is saying they get plastic tubes, and they whack the kids. It's not plastic tubes. It's quarter-inch plastic plumbing line. That's what all these people are using. And I can tell you exactly where they're getting that from. They are getting that from Michael Pearl of No Greater Joy Ministries. Michael sells a book called To Train Up a Child. And his book and everything about his website are focused on one thing and one thing alone: smacking the biscuits out of some poor child for the sin of existing, okay? Some of the things that they punish for are, well, not some, all of the things they punish for are really cruelty. There are better ways to discipline the child than to be whacking their biscuits all the time, trying to get them to behave. That is crappy parenting when people do that. I'm just like, oh, no, we're not doing that when I hear about that. I've often told the tale of when we joined our Quiverfull church, someone gave me a copy of that book, To Train Up a Child, and suggested I use it on my youngest, who had a bleeding disorder. You know, isn't that what every parent wants to do to a child with a bleeding disorder, is whack their biscuits until they end up with bruises that will land CPS on your doorstep? Not me. So I wanted to demystify that. That is not plastic tubes that she's talking about. It's 1/4 inch plastic plumbing line. Pearl recommends that you use plumbing line on your children or the thin plastic flexible pipes on your child. Plumbing things being used on small children to make them behave in whatever way that the pearls think you should, which is basically a smiling robot. There is no room in Quiverfull child discipline for a child being a child. There's no room for play. There's no room for anything like that. It's all do your chores, smile, and be 100% obedient all the time. Teaching children to be completely obedient to all adults is setting children up for SA. You don't do that. You teach your children bodily autonomy so that they don't fall prey to the many SA predators there are in Quiverfull. And there, God knows there are a ton of those guys. And not just in Quiverfull. There's something about fundamentalist religion that is not tied to a not tied to a church that has regional, state, and national oversight that brings out these guys. Don't believe me? Talk to Bruce Garenzer about the bus routes and how many times it turned out that somebody on the bus routes for the new IFB turned out to be a predator of children. It's really high number. I mean, every time I read about this, I'm just like shocked at how many it is. If you don't have oversight, it's more likely to happen. And that's not to say it doesn't happen when there's oversight. I just look at the numbers at the Catholic Church and know that SA happens everywhere. But I think if you have oversight, it happens a little less. So Quiverfull churches, they believe in this very seriously, that the children have to be 100% disciplined. It blows my mind because, I use the Love and Logic series, and that's a better way to approach it, I think, because you put the natural consequences in the hands of the child, and once they learn that there are consequences for doing things, it tends to stop some of the things that happen. Example, if you were Michael Pearl, you would be telling people to whack the kid in the grocery store. I don't advise that. What I used to do is, the deal was, I said, act up in the store and you won't get anything special at all. I usually let them have some small thing every time we went. And all I had to do was leave one time when they were acting up to let them know I meant business. I meant serious business. And I said, I am so sorry you're having to forgo your whatever because you can't, hey baby, because you can't behave yourself. All you have to do with that is once, and that does not involve hitting or anything like that. That's why it appealed to me, natural consequences. But sadly, in Quiverfull, there's a lot of tendency to have these hard and fast rules that don't have much to do with the Bible at all. It makes me laugh. This afternoon, I had some Quiverfull type that was trying to talk to me. I thought he was a parody account of Quiverfull at first. A parody. I had no idea he was actually serious, and apparently he runs the Quiverfull section on Reddit. And he told me there was a thread with my name on it. Big effing deal. Let me tell you something, sir. I will never be Quiverfull again. I mean, you could even make it the religion of the land and say, do it or die. And I would probably stand up and fight you and then die, because, as I've said many times, it is a theology with a body count. I can tell you the stories of women I know who've died as a result of ignoring their health, doing all kinds of things. Speaking of which, the cat is driving me a little nutty. Your body is not designed to have a new baby every 9 months, regardless of what Quiverfull will tell you. I always said I was a Quiverfull dropout because I never could have any more than the 3 I already had when I joined Quiverfull. And Lord have mercy, let me tell you, we tried, because we were told with the youngest that to have another child and bank the cord blood would be the best way for us to assure her continued health in the future, just to make sure that she stayed well. So I never bought into the beat the snot out of the kids theology that is very prevalent in these places. It just is. It's prevalent. It's sad, if you ask me, because, like I said, more flies with honey than vinegar. Oh shoot, turn this down. Eh, I'm sorry, this thing's driving me nutty there. There, you can see me without I'm being spotlighted like a deer in the crosshairs. So when I run into these guys and they always tell me, "Oh well, you're gonna come. I'm gonna pray that you come back to God." You f whistle. I never left God. I never left my faith. My faith has been clarified for me, and it is not quiverful. When I look at the quiverful and I see the body count, all the friends of mine that are now dead, the women who have died in childbirth because they don't believe in having any kind of medical intervention, the ones I know that ignored things like physicals who are dead because of that, because they ignored some easy to treat thing that you could have gotten treated during a physical and it became a monster and killed them. There are so many other things that I could go into about Quiverfull that is awful, but I don't have that kind of time tonight. Just let it be known, I will talk to any Quiverfull woman as long as she's not insulting, because that is where I feel led to talk, because I don't want to see you taken down by any of this. If you're a woman and you're living an Quiverfull lifestyle, I mean, blessings to you. I hope that you manage to make it out to the other side in one piece without being dead. No dead. Without being completely crushed, without having your health ruined. So many women I know came through this end up with completely trashed health, myself included. Why? Because I listened to everybody there about not taking my asthma drugs and about standing in faith to believe that God was going to heal me if I denied all the symptoms and just kept on keeping on. I ended up with way worse. And I think it directly revolves around denial of the medical anything that we were doing there for a while. I knew better and I still did it. So that's really my passion. I would like to see women wake up, realize what an extreme bondage they're in. And it is a bondage and it's an evil thing. I, for the life of me, I can't stand any of the good Christian patriarch types. So when they start trying to talk to me, for me now, I just shut them down and block them. But my DMs are always open for any woman who especially is struggling with this. Yeah, I wanted to talk about Michael Pearl and the 1/4 inch plastic plumbing line, and here I'm talking about this instead. Yeah. It's really my heart to see everyone escape this evil thing, because it is. It's just a different version of Moloch. And if you read your Bible, you know Moloch is the thing they're all worshiping and sacrificing to. This is a kind of worship to an ideology and a sacrifice towards it. That's another reason why I'm so opposed to it. You know, faith in Jesus is simple. It's simple, it's simple. But this other stuff that they keep adding is not. And it can trip you up, it can kill you, it can put you way farther away from where you ever planned on being. Not that any of us ever get what we planned for. I know I certainly did not. Okay, so that's all I wanted to say. I wanted to say that the self proclaimed reporter was not onto anything new. She is repackaging old stuff and not understanding it. She doesn't understand the harm she does when she repeats what she thinks she knows, and it's not even close to accurate. It does harm because it just drives the quiverful people you might be able to reach under harder, because we've never seen this reporter, the self-described reporter, ever be accurate in any of her coverage of religion ever. She hates faith. She hates religion. And that's really the reality of it. It doesn't matter if you call it Catholic, Buddhist, IFB, IBLP, whatever you wrap your religion in, she hates it. I don't hate religion. Well, I don't like religion. I don't hate faith. Faith is a lovely thing. Religion kind of sucks and it can get you torn up into some wild places. Okay, I am going to go lay back down. I've thrown my back out and it's not cooperating with me. Now, my old quiverful self would have denied all the back pain and kept running around and making myself a lot worse rather than just laying down on the heating pad and taking a muscle relaxer when needed. Take care of yourself, please. You're the only you there is. And if you're not going to take care of yourself, let me tell you something. Nobody else ever will. That's one thing I can say with certainty. No one will take care of you the way you yourself will. So take care of yourself. You know, one of the things I'm coming to realize lately is that guilt is probably the most useless emotion of all times. And it's one that religion uses against women in order to keep them in line. Let me tell you something. Never feel guilty about your needs. Never feel guilty about what you need in your heart to survive. Never feel guilty about your emotions. They're your emotions. Never, never, never taken any of that guilt. If somebody tries to lay that on you, it's like, oh, no, I'll consider what you said, but no. I've had to do that lately more and more, and I've had to draw tighter and tighter boundaries around my life because um, if I start fighting with quiverful people or engaging in any of that, it just robs you of your peace. And I am all about peace and quiet right now. All about it. Peace, quiet, happiness. Yeah, I think God does want you to be happy. Everybody else will tell you, oh, sacrifice, sacrifice, sacrifice. God doesn't want you happy. I don't know. I love to worship. That brings me happiness. There's a lot of things I do that bring me happiness that actually have a basis in the Lord. So this whole nonsense about all sacrifice all the time, put on a cheery face and sacrifice, all of that is ridiculous. It's just ridiculousness. They just trying to use this to control you. Okay, you guys, I'm going to go ahead and go for sure this time. Have a good evening.